My name is Dr. Tom Rofrano from the Natural Medicine Clinic in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And today I'm going to talk to you about the first thing you can do to help you with fatigue. And we're going to talk about adrenal fatigue, what that is, and some solutions. There are a number of steps you can take, but we're going to at least cover the first step today that's very important and to get you started. And then in future videos, we can elaborate on additional steps as well. So adrenal fatigue is actually, it's termed adrenal dysfunction, adrenal fatigue. There's a number of different names. But basically, when you're under a period of stress, when you're under stress for long periods of time, and your adrenal glands are those glands that put out stress hormones like cortisol, DHEA, other hormones. So what happens is over time you can just get depleted and exhausted and kind of worn out and just feeling overwhelmed. Some of the other symptoms are insomnia, moodiness, irritability, just almost difficulty getting out of bed in the morning. It can also affect your thyroid. It can affect your immune system, allergies. Just there's so many different symptoms that go along with this. And basically, how do you determine, if this is even a thing with you? Well, the first thing, there are some simple tests we do in the office to clue us in when we do initial evaluations. One is blood pressure. So people that have adrenal fatigue tend to have low blood pressure, and especially when you go from laying down to standing. So your blood pressure should go up, but it tends to drop when you have adrenal fatigue, and therefore cause lightheadedness or dizziness, which is pretty common. So that's one test to do in the office, where we do blood pressure, laying down and standing up, and sitting, of course. And then also just checking how your how your pupils react to light. So if you have sensitivity to lights when you go outside, if you always have to wear sunglasses, that's a sign also of adrenal fatigue. And of course, we do extensive lab testing, check for cortisol levels. Sometimes they're too high and sometimes they're too low, if this has been going on for a while, and because there's different stages of adrenal fatigue. And then we also check DHEA, which is another adrenal hormone. And then there's an even more thorough test, which is a kit that you take home. It's a saliva test. You do it 4 times throughout the day, so that you can get a real picture of what's going on. And especially at night, because a lot of people with adrenal fatigue have difficulty getting to sleep, or they wake up in the middle of the night, so they have real sleep issues as well. So one case I had not too long ago, she was a 33-year-old woman, and she had lack of focus and concentration and just complete exhaustion, just unable to really function, on digestive issues, just really memory and concentration issues. And one of the things we got back, amongst others, was that she had really low levels of DHEA and cortisol both. So besides diet and the supplements, and actually DHEA, it was just a matter of 3 or 4 weeks when she was really feeling a whole lot better and able to get off her medications that she had been on to help with these different symptoms. It's basically just adjusting the root cause of what's going on. And once we identify that, it's fairly straightforward usually to get these things turned around. So, and one thing about, you'll see like going to the health food store, I wouldn't suggest just going to buy DHEA, because it's an actual hormone, and you can also take too much of it. If you just go out and take, say, 50 milligrams of DHEA and you don't even need it, or you don't need that much of it, you can actually cause a lot more problems. So it is important to get your levels checked before you start taking all these things. And also, there's some other adrenal formulas that we have. Some are for when your cortisol is too low, and then another one is when your cortisol is too high. They have adaptogenic herbs, and they really work great for getting your system balanced and helping you end this fatigue and exhaustion. However, it is important to know which one to take. So that's why instead of just running out and getting any adrenal formula you see, because there are many different ones, you really want to be specific to make sure it's the right one for you. So there are a number of things you can do for adrenal fatigue and for getting this, for starting to heal. So one of the most important things that we do, that I recommend with patients, that is so crucial for any of this to work, because we talk about lifestyle changes, about diet, about exercise, about supplements, but the number one thing I'm going to leave with you today is sleep, and why that is so important. So most patients that come in that have these issues, when I ask them about their sleep, they end up going to sleep 11, 12 o'clock or later, and they tend to go to bed at a different time every night, and they wake up in the middle of the night. So it is so important to really establish a healthy sleep routine, and it is so important to get to bed between 10 and 11 every night. Ideally, as closer to 10 as possible as you can. So what you can do is really start to establish a habit, where it's the same time every night. And I know for myself, for years I went to bed 12, 1 o'clock or later, from just being used to it from high school, having to study late at night, and college, being up till late at night studying, sometimes pulling all-nighters, just getting into that habit. And, my early years of practice was the same thing. I'd be up late. So even up until recently, up until just a few years ago, I was going to bed by midnight or even later. So finally, I decided, after failing a number of times, to really get a handle on this, and this is how I did it. So I set a goal at that time for 11 o'clock. I would suggest as close for you, as close to 10 as possible. But just to get started, I went from say 12 or 1 till 11. So you really have to go backwards from there an hour. So if you want to go to bed, we'll pick 10 o'clock for you. So if you want to go to bed by 10, what I did an hour before, just no electronics whatsoever. So I made sure I was off my computer, phone, everything else, because TVs, computers, iPhones, all of those, that looking at the screen at the blue light, it's very stimulating for your brain. So it makes it harder to fall asleep. And not only that, even if you fall asleep with the TV on or fall asleep on your phone, you don't get a sound sleep. So it's not a restful sleep. You may wake up tired or wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep. So you want to make sure you're off all electronics an hour before bed, and actually set that time in your routine. So that last hour, so say between 9 and 10, what you want to do is, do some reading, stretch out, maybe prepare yourself for the next day, just kind of wind down, get ready for bed. Avoid bright lights, like I said, screens, or even, I would kind of don't be in the rooms in a room under fluorescent lights or anything like that, because you really want to wind down and then get to bed. Like I said, ideally 10, but certainly before 11. And then you want to sleep 7 to 8 hours. So you want to get up, say you go to bed by 10. You get up by 6 the next day. So you want to get up at the same time every day and go to bed at the same time. So that is the absolute first step in getting yourself healed and building your energy back up. And one thing you can do also, in addition to this, as far as getting outside during the day. So at some point in the day, get outside, expose yourself to some sunlight. And what that does, that raises your melatonin levels for nighttime. So that'll help. And then by staying off the screens and the computers, iPhone, your phones at night, that will help with melatonin. Because when you're looking at this screen, right up till you go to bed, when you're looking at this screen, what it does, it lowers your melatonin level. So by getting outside, getting a little sun, and by getting off of your phone and electronics, that will help raise your melatonin and help you sleep better through the night and feel more refreshed. And that'll be your first step towards healing and getting more energy. Also, taking magnesium. One other thing, taking magnesium in the evening, 30 to 60 minutes before bed works really well. We use a special magnesium that works great for that. It helps. It's just overall very relaxing. It helps with muscle tension and just really getting you in a relaxed state and helping you sleep longer, sleep better through the night. So if you want to check out our magnesium, we'll put a link right here. That can be really helpful in helping you sleep through the night. So next week, what I can do is expand on these. There's like at least four other steps we can talk about to help regain your energy and heal adrenal fatigue issues. So if you have any comments or want to have us cover a specific thing, feel free to mention it here in Facebook or on YouTube, or you can email us, go on our website, nmcwellness.com. And thanks for joining us this week, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks very much.